Good morning, Michael. I'm here for my Greek lesson, and it looks like we're looking at the casts, or one of the casts, many of which feature in a wonderful room just to the left of the Crawford Art Gallery, which you did up within the last year and changed the colour of the walls, and I think that made all the difference.
So the room is called the Sculpture Galleries.
Yeah.
With the help of Pat McDonald Paints, our sponsor last year, we reinvigorated these very historic spaces with a gorgeous blue, which we're calling Canova blue. And it really is kind of a taste of the Mediterranean, and I think we could all do with that at the moment.
The amazing thing about the colour is when Elle-Marie was with me in that gallery, in the Sculpture Gallery there a few months ago, she took out her phone and she took one picture, and the main reason she got it printed was it came out very well because it was one of the casts, and what kind of strikes your eye is that Canova blue colour in the background, and it looks lovely and it's on the fridge. And the funny thing was, when I showed her this week's work of the week, she said, "Oh look, there's my picture which is on the fridge." And I said, "It doesn't even look like you." And then she explained, no, the picture that I took of, in this case, it was the bust of Asclepius, and it's now on our fridge coincidentally. But who is Asclepius, and why has he been chosen as the work of the week this week?
Well, first of all, I think Marie has great taste and obviously is setting the trend here. But to get to Asclepius, he was the ancient Greek god of healing. Oh. And we've chosen this artwork this week really to celebrate and offer thanks, very sincere thanks to all of the frontline healthcare workers who really are going above and beyond. They probably know we appreciate them, but it's no harm in saying it. Yeah. Even sending a little message of thanks will hopefully be warmly received. So he is the Greek god of healing, but I suppose the way to connect him to modern day healthcare is through one of his attributes, so something that we can associate with him, and that is called the rod or staff of Asclepius. And it is a staff with a snake curling all the way up around it, so entwined around it. That emblem of the snake-entwined staff is kind of almost a universal symbol of healthcare today on the World Health Organization's logo, see it in pharmacies and so on. So we're going back 2,500, 3,000 years longer with these stories of Asclepius, and we still use his symbol today.
We may not know who Asclepius is, but we certainly know who his dad is anyway.
So Asclepius really isn't a household name today.
No.
We'll all have heard of his father, and his father was Apollo, who was also associated with healing, but also with art and music. So he was one of, I suppose, the principal Greek gods, also associated with the sun and light. So you can see how good bit of music, some creativity, the healing power of the sun, and so Apollo is the father of Asclepius.
Now, when we look at the family tree of these gods, we also notice that Asclepius's offspring also stayed in the family business, healthcare.
They really did, and I suppose, these ancient myths, I remember as a kid being so fascinated by them. Yeah. But they're like a soap opera, because you disappear down storylines, and there's all sorts of double crossing and all sorts of connections. But in the case of Asclepius, he had several children, 2 sons who went off into the healing business and the Trojan War. But then his daughters, I think, are very particularly important, because they're associated with different aspects of healthcare. And so I suppose they're connected with healing and general good health, recuperation. The 2 ones that we would still keep in our minds today would be his daughter Hygeia, meaning cleanliness, so the word hygiene, and then panacea, which means universal remedy. And we use those words still today. And I always find these kind of mythological stories so interesting, because they're about naming and they're about understanding ideas, concepts. And so the daughters of Asclepius help us to understand the healing process and the different stages of healthcare.
If we could just widen the topic a little bit and try and figure out how come a bust of a Greek god is keeping lots of company in a room full of sculptures and busts. Where did they all come from? How come you've got such a huge exhibition?
Well, I suppose that's where we all began. The Crawford Art Gallery and, of course, CIT, Crawford College of Art and Design, all come from the same root, which is a gift of sculpture casts that were given to us at the end of 1818. Oh. And we added to that gift over time as well. So while this isn't one of the original casts that came in 1818, it was probably added sometime in the 1830s or 1840s to the collection. These sculpture plaster casts were an education tool. They were to educate artists in terms of drawing and observing figures, but also, I suppose, to the general public as well at times, to learn about the cultures and, I suppose, be exposed to great works of art.
Okay, well, do you know what? I learned a little bit myself, so by extension, it's still teaching us a lesson or two, if not the words that we use so commonly, where they come from, right down to how art inspires art and artists. And again, it's part of our work of the week this week. It's called Bust of Asclepius. It's 19th century. It's a plaster cast. And it's one of the heroes at work in the Crawford, quietly while it's closed. But if you want to see it, all you have to do is just go to crawfordartgallery.ie/work of the week. And again, thank you for your wisdom and insight, Michael. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Connor.
The Canova blue Michael referred to was in tribute to the man behind the creation of the casts, Italian sculptor Antonio di Canova. They became known as the Canova casts, as they were created under his supervision. Over 200 of them once existed. Their route to the Crawford was quite a journey. Originally they came from the Vatican as a gift to the British Crown for helping to defeat Napoleon. They languished in London for many years, were turned down by the Royal Academy, until the Cork Society for Promoting Fine Arts simply asked for them. Connections. Living for a while on Pantry Street in the Apollo Society Gallery, and finally finding a home in the old Custom House, what is now today called the Crawford Art Gallery. So, go to crawfordartgallery.ie and you'll discover a lot more besides. That was this week's Work of the Week. May the gods continue to smile upon us.